Good afternoon, gentlemen. Welcome back to the Struggle Stream. It's very nice to be here. I thought we would pick up where we left off yesterday. We didn't get very far through our getting things ready for winter. As you can see from the beautiful leaded glass window off my left shoulder there, we are having a beautiful snowy day high in the mountains of the Pacific Northwest. It's nice to share the pristine wilderness here and the fire, especially with East Coast man, because he has fouled his nest with the industrial age and he lives in a toxic wasteland. He gets to live vicariously through West Coast man and enjoy God's true country. So welcome back. It's good to have you here. I thought we would pick up where we left off. Now, there was some discussion as we left last time about who makes the best belt. Leather belts. You guys were looking for a high quality belt, and I said I knew of good and better, or good and best, or better and best. And some of you brought up the wonderful Milt Sparks company in Idaho. I thought we would take a look at those before we get started, and we will pick up where we left off. I have about an hour and a half to spend with you guys. I have a special father-daughter date with the Sweet Loaf tonight. We're going to a harvest festival, and I got to bail out of here. I have to remember. Someone remind me that I have to be there at 6 o'clock, and it's about 15 minutes away. So don't let me overrun and miss my date. Let us jump over really quick. Nothing but the highest production here. I'm going to try it. Let me see. Let's take a look at those Milt Sparks belts, and we will have a look. I'm going to see them the same time you see them. I do not know anything about them. I know a little bit about the Milt Sparks company, a custom holster maker in Idaho of the highest quality, the best of the best. Actually, the very first holster, the very first concealed carry holster that I purchased was from him, and I still have it. I still use it today. So very, very nice quality. Let's jump over there, and we'll take a look here. Look at that production, gentlemen. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You don't know the trials that I've had to go through and the war band to bring this high production to you all. And as I suspected, they are beautiful. Now, these are going to be a little bit more of the Western flair. I don't know, that may or may not appeal to you. But one problem with these gun belts, and I actually used to own one of these. I remember now. When I bought my holster, I purchased, well, here, how about this? You want to see some high production? Check this out. Picture in a picture. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable, isn't it? When I originally bought my holster, I bought a belt with it. I had that for a long, long time, and I do remember having these. And one issue with these guys, these gun guys, is, in my opinion, the holsters or the belts are a little bit too thick. They are double thick leather, they are stitched, and they are exceedingly rigid. So if you're an old boomer and you like that sort of thing, you like to carry your 1911 inside the waistband, cocked and locked, this might appeal to you. But it's a little bit too heavy. They are beautiful. They are beautiful. Look at that. Look at the burnishing on the end. That is some fine leather. They know what they're doing over there. No doubt. I don't want to cast any shade on the Milt Sparks company at all, but it comes down to personal preference, and these are a little bit too Western for me. Do they have something a little bit more contemporary? Very Western. So that may or not appeal to you. I'm not a big fan of the buckle there, that shape, but that is a personal choice. But you be the judge of that. You cannot account for taste. Let's jump into it. So where we left off, goodness. I got several comments today. Hey, how come you're not working on the woodshed? What's going on with that? You leave us hanging? Starting a project and not finishing it? Goodness, gentlemen, I have been on my deathbed last week. Mrs. W and I came down with a chest infection. And I have not been doing well, not feeling well. I'm on the recovery of it now. I am staying inside, sitting by the wood stove, giving you this low effort content. So you get what you pay for around here. So we will be streaming. And also, I do enjoy live streaming. The content that I enjoy the most that I consume myself is live streaming, and I want to do more of it. I have been, it's a difficult thing to do, just the technical side of it, and especially when you're trying to do it all by yourself and running multiple cameras and audio. And as I'm so fond of saying, I learn my lessons very, very slow. So it's difficult for me. And running the whole thing by yourself is kind of tricky. But I think the War Band, I've been practicing with them for many months now, and I'm honing my skills, and I'm hoping to do more of it. I would actually like to do a daily live stream for, of course, we do the daily live stream for the members, but for the unwashed as well. Maybe in the evening, 4 to 5:30, during drive time, that would be a good time, and we'll see where it goes. I also have, I have my computer set up here, and I've got a keyboard. So if there's anything that you want to discuss or you want to go take a look at, if you want to make recommendations while we're on the topic of high quality fine leather, getting everything ready for winter, taking care of the things that we buy, buying quality, if you have any recommendations, I am more than happy to take that. We can pop over there and we can look together. We can look together. Mr. Colors, welcome from Switzerland. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Bomb Chaser says, I have nearly 40 cords of firewood put away. My goodness, is that not the best feeling in the world? I do not have 40 cords put away. I probably have close to 25 or so, maybe 30. I'm close. That is my goal. It would be my goal to have 40 cords of firewood put away. That is money in the bank. That feels pretty darn good. You always know that if everything went pear-shaped, that firewood would give you the ability to keep your home warm. If they shut off the power, you could cook. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Money in the bank. Only going up in value as well. Good evening, Mr. Attila. Glad to have you here. So, where we left off yesterday, I started without you here. We were working on our beautiful Oxfords. We're going to move in to our gorgeous Nick's Urban Loggers. We're going to do a full boot grease. This will be kind of my process and how I would recommend getting your fine boots, your fine leather shoes ready for winter. There is no such thing as a leather waterproof boot. Guys always ask about this. I know that Danner, for years, Danner has advertised that they have a full waterproof leather boot. And it's not, it is and it isn't. It has the Gore-Tex booty in it. I used to wear them. I thought it was the greatest thing. I suffered terribly working in excavating, working in the rain all winter long, standing in standing water, in trenches, putting pipe. My feet were always cold, and I was always miserable, and I was always on the lookout for a waterproof boot, but I could never abide wearing a rubber boot, slopping around like a firefighter. There's no support. They're hateful. And so I started wearing these boots, and what I found out with those Danner waterproof boots is they had a Gore-Tex booty in them, and they were really great for a few months until that booty separated and started shifting around. It was like wearing a slipper inside of a leather boot. It was worse than a rubber boot. So there is no such thing, but you can get pretty darn close unless you're unless you're in standing water. If you're just talking about rain and in and out and, splashing through puddles and things, what we're going to do today is as close as you can get. And I never have wet feet, and I only wear leather boots. So it works. You have to stay up on it, but it absolutely works. We have, coming in. We need to come up with some great sound effects to honor our generous Pro-Ho members here. Mr. Ryan MC coming in strong with a $50 super chat. Goodness, thank you, Ryan. That is exceedingly generous of you. We really, really do appreciate it. Mr. Ryan has this to say. Your streams are great. Would love more Bible study. Proverbs, maybe. Man, we had a good one this morning. You may or may not know, I do a daily members-only live stream. You can join and become a member. I think it's $5 a month. It's not about the money. I'm not doing it to cut a fat hog. I'm doing it because it is a barrier and it keeps the trolls away so that we are uninterrupted. So I know times are tough. I know there's a lot of things demanding a guy's money, and it's available. It's available. We had a great, great study this morning. It's every morning, 9:30. Well, It depends. You know, I'm not a very reliable person, and I don't like to stick to schedules, but it's in the morning. How about I say that? But I try to be there every day when I can, and we've got a great group there. So if that's interesting to you, come on over there and join it. You can try it, and that's the last. I'm not going to go on about it. I just want everyone to know that's available. And if you want to join the Warband and be part of that, we have an amazing group of men over there, and we really get deep. We get into deep waters over there, and we certainly did this morning. But thank you, Ryan. That generosity is very much appreciated. Mr. Jack, Handsome Jack, is coming in with a super chat. Thank you very much. He has a question. I like to talk, as you know. I've got answers. Jack says, are you familiar with flock cameras? Now, I've heard this term around. Would love to see you look into it and cover them. Very scary. A tool of the state, act accordingly. Yeah, you know, we were speaking about this in the members chat just this week. I hate that sort of thing. I believe, if I know, correct me if I'm wrong, but the flock cameras are basically just put up in public places that are just hoovering up and databasing all information, faces, facial recognition, license plates readers, all of those things. I'm guessing. And again, I don't know exactly what all the details are, but I'm guessing that this is some dark, deep state, end of time, dystopian nightmare stuff. How do I feel about it? I am against it. But what can we do? I mean, this is the way that it is. You know that Teslas, you know, they have a 360-degree camera. Everything that all your Tesla owners, everything that where the car is parked, when it's driving, all of that data, all of that information is being recorded and sent to these mega data centers and archived. Now, they say that it's to help with the automatic driving, and there's probably some truth to that. But also, I would imagine that if government players or people wanted to go back and look and see what was going on, I would imagine that what the concept is with these cameras is, let's say, for example, there is a mugging on the streets of Portland. The flock camera's up, right? And it happened, a week ago or something like that. Or there is an investigation that they need to go back and look and try to find out, was there someone, can we find what he drove in, that they're going to have access to that sort of thing. So everything that we've done, everything that we say, everywhere we've been, everywhere we've driven, is going to be accessible. And with AI's ability to research and to do that sort of thing, it's pretty frightening. I mean, that technology, can you imagine the technology that they have at the state level? Just my own personal security system. I have a pretty robust closed in-house security system here that records 2 hard drives, and it keeps that data for months and months and months. I have cameras that have the ability with facial recognition. I have cameras that read license plates and archive all that stuff. If someone, for example, when I'm away, were to come down the driveway, that camera would record that. I could take that image this is the technology that I have. And this is not, nothing super fancy. I could take that, and the computer will search, and anytime that car has driven by in the past and that license plate has been recorded and read, I can see. Or, for example, if there's a guy that jogs by the house, or let's say there's someone casing the joint and he's always wearing a red windbreaker, or he's got a red hat on, I can search everything in the last 6 months of any person that's been in the vicinity or came through these cameras wearing a red windbreaker or a red jacket. And that's just my little basic system here. So you can only imagine what is available. But I am afraid of it, Jack. I am afraid of it. I'm afraid of it. But what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Now, will people rise up in this country and say enough is enough? Will there be pushback and say we don't want to live in a surveillance state? Unfortunately, I don't think so. I think no one cares anymore. I think that people just don't really care. They're not really bothered. Maybe older people, maybe Gen X, those of us that got to experience what it's like to not always be tracked, to not always be surveilled. But young people that were raised on the internet, they've kind of gotten accustomed to it, and I don't know that they really take as much issue with it as we do. I know in the UK, it's becoming kind of an interesting story. They have these cameras that are up all over the place, and they're reading license plates and such, and guys are going around. There's a group of men that are doing this anonymously, obviously, but they're called blade runners. And they're taking cordless sawzalls, and they're getting bimetal blades, and they're going at night, and they're chopping these things down. And it's the funniest thing. They chop them down as fast as as the state can put them back up. But will something like that happen here? Will they start defacing cameras? I don't know. I don't see it happening, but I do not like it. I do not like it. It's very, very troubling. Goodness. I'm trying to polish my shoes here, gentlemen, get our boots ready for winter, and your generosity is going to keep me going. Colors is coming in with a super chat. Thank you, Colors. It's good to see you back here. He has a comment. Color says, I wanted to tell you to adjust your lights to be warmer in front and colder towards the back. Your skin tone has a magenta tint to it, and I'm in filmmaking. Man, I'm going to take a screenshot of that, and I will do that. I do have bicolor lights. Well, some of them are. We're operating on a shoestring out here, and my goodness, the learning curve for filmmaking, dealing with light, dealing with audio, all this stuff when you don't have anyone to teach you, it is tremendous. It's absolutely tremendous. But I took a screenshot. I'll do some work on that and see. Maybe you can advise me. I'll try to clean that up, fix that up a little bit. Yeah. BB says the UK has been cutting them down for years. It's pretty entertaining if you like to watch that sort of content, but there's a couple guys that, it's funny because they'll go the day after, the next morning after these ULIS cameras, or whatever they call them, are laying on the street. They go around there with their phones and they're walking around. They're like, oh my, who would do such a thing? This is absolutely terrible. I can't believe someone would do something like that. And you kind of get the impression. Now I'm getting triggered. I look purple. Maybe I'm dying. I don't know what to do. I can't stop now. The die is cast. We're in it. So I'm just going to marshal on. I'll look into that. I'll see what I can do. No one wants to be purple. Yes, leather laces are the way to go. I much prefer leather laces over synthetic laces. I tried both. It's a personal preference. Some guys don't like leather laces because they think they don't last as long. But I like leather laces over synthetics because of the stretch. There's a lot more stretch in them. And the synthetic ones, I don't know. Jack doesn't like leather. He prefers synthetic. So it's a personal choice. I don't really know. I don't know that there's any wrong answer. But I love leather laces. I think it's the way to go. I order them. The best ones I've found have been from White's Boot Company, but I think up in Spokane. They make a really, really nice leather lace. It's very thick and very heavy, and they seem to last longer than the cheaper ones that you buy. All right, check this out. Remember the shoes, the Oxfords we were working on yesterday? I'm a little tinted. My goodness. I'm getting triggered, gentlemen. You guys are getting me off my game here. Goodness. It's good to see Outdoor with the Morgans. I was just thinking, I have not heard from Outdoor with the Morgans, fellow YouTubers, and I had been subscribed to your channel for a long time, and I went back and checked, and I thought, are they not making videos anymore? I think YouTube unsubscribed me because I was unsubscribed, and I did not unsubscribe. So I just recently, within the last two weeks, resubscribed. And I hear that all the time. I get direct messages almost daily. Hey, I got unsubscribed for your channel. I didn't even know you were still making content. So I don't know what that's about. I've brought that up to YouTube. I don't know how many times. I've been down there and I've talked to their teams, and they always act like, oh, we've never heard this before. And half the creators on the platform have been talking about it for a decade. So I don't know. Goodness. So thank you for that. Thank you for the super chat. Outdoor with the Morgan says the majority does not care. We were way more free under the British rule back in the days than we are today. Yet everyone celebrates our freedom and independence. Yeah. That is not my particular expertise, the Revolutionary War. But what I have come to understand in recent years is I was surprised to hear how many Americans in 1776 were loyalist. You know, the victors write their own history. But it was actually a small number of people that wanted to separate from the royal crown. And when we went to school, you know, they painted the British as demons and the worst people, and the Americans of all honorable. But you know, there's always more to the story. There's always more to the story. But goodness, yeah, freedoms. We don't have any freedoms. Just try to. There are people and there are groups and protected classes that if you were to speak against them, if I were to speak, there are people and groups right now that I could, if I were to say something critical against them, this stream would be shut down. That's freedom of speech. I love it when Americans like to get up and crow to the Europeans, oh, freedom of speech. We are the exceptional people, when it's so far from the truth. It's so far from the truth. Thank you. The Mittens Outdoor tells me that I'm fine and the camera settings are good. I don't know. Sometimes I think people come in to troll me because they know it gets me off of my game here. And also, welcome Mr. Joshua Jensen, our newest member. You have just gained access to the warband. Now you have a beautiful avatar. My flowery, my zesty hat as an icon. And as you move through the ranks, your icons will improve and get better and better. But welcome. We'll see you there tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning. Yes. All right, so check this out. I polished one of these up for you. Want to see how pretty? Look at that. Goodness, isn't that beautiful? I got the shine on there on my beautiful Oxfords. I'm not wearing these tonight on our father-daughter date. I may. I don't know if I'll get to the boots I was going to wear, but I thought we would work on these together and just hang out. I always have in the evenings a myriad little projects to do, little things to fix and things I like to work on, my little hobbies. If I'm not out in the shop or I'm not productive, then I'm just going to be playing Apex Legends or scrolling on TikTok. So it keeps my hands occupied. And so I think what we'll do is we'll just turn the camera on and we'll do these little projects together. Thank you, Arctic. We're doing well. So let's get started here. As you know, every man should have a shoe shine kit. And one of the essential things is a horsehair brush. Nothing like a horsehair brush. Now, we're not going to get like a super duper military style shine on these shoes, even though we have this beautiful Horween leather cut from the horse's butt, because I put Obenaufs on here, and it never really dries like shoe polish. Shoe polish is fine, but it doesn't really nourish the leather. If you have dress shoes that you're not, that are not out in the mud and such, shoe polish is fine, but it kind of just sits on the top of the leather and you buff it and polish it, and it looks pretty, but it doesn't nourish as good. Obenaufs does not shine up and get super skookum and shiny like shoe polish does, but I think is a good compromise. But what it does do is it does nourish the leather. JMP has got his Red Wings oiled up. Yes, I have never owned a pair of Red Wings. My grandfather, that's what he wore. He was a Red Wing man. I remember when I was a boy, they had a Red Wing store down at the local Main Street, and we would go down there and he would buy his Red Wing work boots and such. And they were really the gold standard. I think like most companies, and I'm not the expert on this, but I do believe that a lot of the Red Wings are now being produced overseas. But I think they have a heritage line, or they still maintain a USA built line, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Red Wings are an East Coast man's boot, and you're not going to catch me wearing anything from the East Coast, of course. Although Ironheart's pretty far east, isn't it? If we go the other direction, we could call that extreme West Coast. So I'll just go with that. Paste wax. I don't know what paste wax is. I'm not sure what that is. You know, I've always heard, you hear the term paste wax, but I don't know what it is. Goodness, look at that. Is that not beautiful or what? These are pretty shoes. The Nicks Oxfords. Excellent. Excellent. Timberlands. I used to wear Timberland. I was wearing Timberlands back before they became popular with the rap crowd. You know, a lot of the guys in the inner cities, our black brothers in Christ, they like to wear Timberland boots. I don't know if they're quality. I don't know much about the Timberland boots, if they're made in the U.S. or where they're made. But I know they're still very popular. They're pretty iconic. Used motor oil. No, that's not true. Used motor oil is not any. That's the worst thing you can put on. Anything petroleum, it breaks down leather and it breaks down and destroys the stitching. It will. Anything gasoline, propane, if you work in those industries, motor oil, mechanics, it will quickly soften leather and destroy a boot. So that's, I think you're kidding, but that's not advised. Natural products are best. Not to mention, all of that stuff you put on your boots is going to seep in and get into your body. So you'll get that motor oil. You don't want to use that. It would be better to use nothing than to use that. Goodness, Mr. Alex coming in. Shout out to you, Alex, with the super chat. Looking forward to the snow stream this year. I am too. My goodness, I would like to. You know, I've got room for more cameras. What I was thinking today, what would be cool, what we should do, is to get a really nice telephoto camera in it's kind of waterproof outside, and aim it right at Mount Fuji, and we could do real time. I could show you guys what we're looking at out there because it is magnificent. It's been raining down here for 3 days, and this morning it was glorious. I looked out when the sun started coming up and the mountain poked out, and it's absolutely covered with snow. A week or two ago, it was a brown rock, no snow on it, and now it looks completely different. Mink oil is good. Thorogood boots, that's an old boot maker. I don't know anything about them. I don't know about Thorogood. A lot of these iconic brands, you know, I don't think we need to take the laces off on these. These are beauties here. If you wanted to treat yourself, gentlemen, and get something real nice, a heritage pair of boots, these are, I think of all my boots, even my white smoke jumpers, which I am very, very fond of. I think that I know that these are my favorite because I wear them more than anything else because they're easy to live with. I just can't really get with an 8-inch boot anymore now that I don't do real work, and I like these best. These are the Nicks Urban Loggers. They have all of the characteristics and the same build quality from the lowers down as a full-fledged proper West Coast logging boot. But they're a little bit, not as much shank in them, so they're a little bit more flexible, and that 3/4 top is pretty nice. When you wear them with jeans or pants, you know, they have the same exact look and the beautiful stacked heel and the Vibram sole as the full-on logger boot, but they are a lot easier to live with, and these are really wearing in nice, aren't they? Goodness, these are beautiful. Nothing like a Vibram sole. Double stitch with the screws. When I had these built, I had them put the fire soles on them just for nostalgia, with the screws in there. You should see the sewing machine, the double needle sewing machine that goes through there and punches through all of that triple layers of. It's unbelievable. It's frightening when you're just standing next to it. I can't imagine operating it. Goodness. Puget Sound. I can't pronounce the last word. Coming in with a super chat. Thank you, brother, for your generosity. He has something to say. Puget Sound says this. Hey, Cody, just bought my first deer rifle. It's a Tikka. Tikkas are beautiful. I've never owned one. I have a friend that has one, and it's a gorgeous rifle. If I was going to buy Like if the Sweet Loaf wanted to go, if she comes to me and she's 12 and she's like, Papa, I want to go deer hunting. I want to go elk hunting. Will you take me? I would say absolutely. And we would go and we would buy her a rifle. And in the top of my list, probably what I would go look at for first is I think I would buy a Tika for her first rifle. I'd buy a Tika in 308. Nice choice. A Tika T3 in 308. Oh, that's what I would have done too. Looking for optic recommendations, ideally 3 to 9. Lightweight, illuminated reticle. I've been looking at Trijicon and Leupold. Any thoughts? Yeah, you're barking up the right tree right there. Leupold is a company that's based in Oregon. My grandfather, all of our family, our hunting parties growing up, all swore by and used Leupold. I have a whole gun safe full of Leupold optics. I've got their binoculars. I've got their spotting scopes. I know the guys that work there. I've been on their shooting range. They've invited Mrs. W and I out, and they are wonderful, wonderful people. When it comes to hunting, I think Leupold is the choice to go with. I love Trijicon as well. Trijicon, I'm not super keen. I don't even know if they have a hunting line. Their stuff is typically military from what I understand. Of course, the best quality, super, super skookum. And if you like that and you just want it because it's so cool, I get that. But if it were me, I would go, I would take a look at the Leupold lineup. You know, they're going to have many options, like most companies, you know, good, better, best, and just kind of figure out what it is that you want to spend your money on, how much you want to spend on it. And they'll have something that will work. Illuminated reticle. I never hunted with an illuminated. Oh, the magenta. Is it really magenta? Now I'm stewing. Go with the Leupold. Go with the Leupold. That's what I would do. Yeah, good choice. That's exactly what I would have bought. The 308, great caliber, great first gun. Beautiful. Nicely done. Nicely done. I'm very proud of it. You made the right choice. You made the right choice. No, I can't get with Vortex. No Vortex. I don't like Vortex. Ignore the color comments. I do see it now. I do see the pink. You know, a lot of it has to do, I don't know, I think you're incorrect, actually. I think the color is pretty well balanced. It is just that it's so hot here by the wood stove, and I've had the fire just ripping all day. I think I'm just red in the face. I think that's really the deal. So it's not the end of the world, gentlemen. You know, as any filmmaker would know, the video is far, far less important than the audio. The audio has been my big cross to bear, and I'm slowly getting that figured out, and I haven't arrived yet. I have a lot of improvement to make, and it's hard to learn how to use a microphone. I've never worked with a microphone, so yes, I'm just flushed. Yes, I'm flushed. That's what it is. All right. Goodness. Colors coming in with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. He says, gray card, didn't wanted to go through your you see, my public school education rears its ugly head because I can barely read. What it is I get excited and my brain outruns my mouth. Let us begin again. Color says this, gray card, didn't wanted to through. I see that you have been publicly educated as well, Mr. Colors 101. Your spelling is an abomination. It's exactly like mine. Goodness. Mrs. W, I never went to college. Mrs. W has a super, super fancy, high-level education. And I barely graduated high school with like a C-. It wasn't because I couldn't do the work. It was that I didn't want to do it, and I was never there. I tell you the truth, I would not have graduated had it not been for two things. One, our vice principal was my father's wrestling coach, and had a soft spot for me because he liked my dad. He didn't like me at all, but I received benefits because he liked my dad. And two, I gave him regularly, bribed him with smoked salmon. I was really into fishing, and that was primarily the main reason why I was not in school and having attendance problems. The moment I got my driver's license on my 16th birthday and a car, I was out of there, always fishing. And so I would bring smoked salmon to him, and I am 100% convinced had it not been for those two things, they would have failed me. I would have never graduated. And it wasn't for grades, it was for lack of attendance. I found the whole thing to be an absolute waste of time. But back to Colors 101, he says gray card. Yes, I have a gray card. Didn't wanted to throw you off track. That's the most difficult thing I've ever read in my life, but I do appreciate that. No, I don't. I appreciate the. I know those of us that are artists of the creative bent. You know, we can't be bothered with formalities like math and spelling of things. Was it Lewis and Clark, Meriwether Lewis? Have you read the journals of Lewis and Clark? The spelling is unbelievable, but he was a brilliant man. So you know what? It doesn't matter. Long as we can kind of get the gist of it, we're going to be okay here. Arctic says, I oil my nail bag with neatsfoot oil or linseed. I've never heard of that. Neats oil I have, but I don't know about linseed oil for leather. Is that okay? I don't know. I use it for tool handles. God-loving American has a question. How often are you going into Portland? And are you going there to clean the streets or for fun? No, I go there because I usually go there because there are particular stores and things that I like. Primarily, my Ironheart store is there. I like to go there to see that stuff, of course. We typically go there. I was raised in Portland, and one thing about Portland, it has its problems, don't get me wrong, but it has... I'm very much into, as Mrs. W says, my love language is eating out. I love really, really good food and interesting food. And Portland is the name of the game. That's the one thing that I miss more than anything about living in the country and moving out of the city is not having access to the incredible food scene and coffee in Portland. It has probably... I'll go out and say it. I think Portland has among the finest food that you can get in the entire country. And I'm talking about New York, Chicago, Boston, all of that. It's very difficult. You know, when you get used to that, and there's a real food culture in Portland with food trucks and ethnic food. And I mean, I'm just salivating thinking about it. Most of the time when we go in, it's either to go to Ironheart or to go to Costco or I'll take Mrs. W. I'll find out, there's a, if you want to find meal, I'll give you a little hint. If you want to find meal, my current muse, my favorite of late is a restaurant. There's two of them, I believe, in Portland, one on the west side, one on the east side, called Screen Door. Anyone in the chat, have you been to Screen Door and had their Southern fried chicken? Oh my goodness. Just thinking about it right now, I could end the stream if I didn't have obligations, grab Mrs. W and make the hour and a half drive to sit down there and to have that right now. I can't even concentrate. It's so good. Do yourself a favor and book a reservation on the west side above the Pearl District at Screen Door and order the chicken. Unbelievable. It would make Southern man cry. He would punch his mother the moment he tasted it. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. But that's typically why I go in. Adam Pickard, shout out to you. Coming in with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Mr. Adam. Thank you for your generosity. Adam has something to say. Let's put some respect on his name here. Adam says, I'm 22 and married. I joined the U.S. Coast Guard in 2025. Brand new. And was medically discharged in boot camp for cavities. Goodness, I didn't know that was a thing. You know, you would think that if you're going to dedicate yourself and serve for this country, the least you could do, the least they could do, is to fix a cavity or two. That's absolutely crazy. I did hear, does anyone know kind of the history of the French Foreign Legion? I've heard that they too now are taking a dim view on people that have bad teeth, which is unprecedented. So historically, the French Foreign Legion is made up from all sorts of guys that, well, maybe they ran into some trouble, or maybe they want to get away from an evil woman, or maybe they've run a little foul of the law and they need a fresh start. And it's a difficult service. It's a hard row to hoe. They are basically like a French mercenary force and a cannon fodder, or they were in the past, made up of men from all across the world. But the thing with the French Foreign Legion was that you would go there, and they have a big gate, and you'd knock on the door, and they would let you in, and you went in, and you were now theirs. And you would go through basic training, and if you served honorably, I believe it was a long time too, I don't know if it was 6 years or 10 years, if you served, when you came out at the end of it, they would give you a new French identity, and you could re-enter society with a fresh start, which is kind of very romantic and a very, very cool concept when you think about it. There are very few places where you could have the opportunity to do that. I have heard of late, there are so many men, because dental care has become a problem and so expensive, there were so many men that were joining just to get their teeth fixed and to get this stuff sorted out, that it was starting to be a problem, and they actually stopped, if this is true, what I read, they stopped admitting guys that had messed up teeth or bad teeth or too much dental work, which I thought was kind of funny. Let us proceed here. Adam goes on to say, they kicked him out of boot camp for cavities, back home now looking for a path and thinking about going back. What do you think about joining nowadays? Blessings in disguise, maybe? I'm going to be completely honest. In the past, I've always been very pro-military. I've always had a little bit of regret that I didn't serve. Not so much that I didn't serve. I think what I wanted was I always wanted to know how I would have stacked up against other guys. That always appealed to me. I would have liked to have tried out for special forces. Could you make it? You don't know until you're there. And so I always had a little bit of regret for that. But as I've become self-aware and I realize how corrupt our government is and how they send the best that we have to offer, our best and bravest men and women, into harm's way for profit, for Israel, not for the benefit of our country or our people or our culture, I do not support it at all. I would do everything in my power if my son came to me and said, hey, I want to join the military. I would do everything in my power to dissuade him. Now, with that being said, if I had to pick one for my son to go into, Jack, at 21, I would encourage him to go into the Coast Guard. To be honest with you, you're going to stay stateside. It's not going to be near as dangerous. And I think it would be very interesting, depending on where you're stationed. For example, we, of course, in Oregon and Washington, we have the Pacific Ocean, and the Coast Guard is pretty active up and down the coast. One of my favorite places to go on the Oregon coast is a little town called Depot Bay. And they actually have a Coast Guard station there. I believe it's the smallest harbor in America. It's a tiny little harbor, and it's really cool. There's a bridge that goes over the inlet, and all the time when I'm there, I see the Coast Guard cutter going out and manned with all of the young guys on it, and it always looks like fun. It looks like a kind of a cool experience. I think the Coast Guard helicopters, the rescue work that they do, the rescue swimmers, I think that would be a fun thing to get into. So I cannot support going into the military unless things drastically change, and they could. My view on that could change. But as it stands now, I do not support it. I would not encourage you to do it. I would look at something else. But shout out to you. It's a good question and something, just give it some thought. Talk to people. If you have any trusted men, if you have any men that have recently been in the military that you have access to, go talk to them, get their opinion, what they think about it. Also, make sure you go and to talk to folks that are in the Coast Guard and that have served and ask them, get advice. There's safety in a multitude of counselors. The advice that I give you is not very valuable because I have not served. I don't know a lot about the Coast Guard. I've never been in it. I've worked with some commercial fishermen, and they did not like the Coast Guard. They did everything in their power to avoid calling the Coast Guard if they were ever in distress. And I asked him, well, why is that? You know, you would think the first thing you would do when your ship is sinking or you're having a problem, you'd call the Coast Guard. And he said, oh, no, we get on the radio, we call the fleet, we call other fishermen, because when the Coast Guard shows up, all they're going to do is to write you a bunch of tickets and give you a bunch of fines. They are the cops of the sea. So that was his opinion. So I don't know if that's true or not, but it probably is. But shout out to you. Thank you, Adam. Mr. Colors coming in with another super chat. Let me try again. I didn't want to throw you off track. Thank you. Thank you. Now I see also, now I feel like a real heel because I see that the super chat is in a currency that is not USD. So I have to assume that English is your second language. So you're doing pretty good to communicate in two languages because I only speak one. So I do apologize for calling you out. You're doing well. If English is truly your second language, you're doing a whole lot better than I am. So noted. No, I was not offended. I appreciate the feedback, and I'll look into this magenta hue. See, obviously I need to get the white balance sorted out on my camera, and I'll get that fixed for you. Next time it'll probably be worse. Goodness, Mr. Adam Pickard coming in again with another super chat. Adam says this: To make it worse, the held many of us for weeks in holding instead of letting us go our various problems, such as cavities, fixed. Yeah, that's diabolical, isn't it? That shouldn't be. My goodness, the money that our government throws away and wastes on immigrants, on illegal aliens, is disgraceful. And here we have a natural-born son that wants to serve his country, to make the sacrifice, put his life at risk, and you got to treat him with such a disrespect. I guess, I would have to take a hard look. If that's the way that they're running things at the Coast Guard, where they inconvenience you and keep you basically a hostage over this nonsense, do you think it's going to get any better? I don't know. You'll have to make that decision. Of course, Hinge is on site. You don't think that that's real snow? You don't think that we're seeing the beautiful snow out my leaded glass window? Of course it's real snow. Come on now. All right. Where were we? We're going to be lucky to get half a boot done today. But that's the nature of the stream. Welcome to the struggle stream, gentlemen. If I was on the East Coast and we were streaming looking out my window, what I would probably see is like a super fun site with a river on fire. I don't know how it's possible, but East Coast man, his water burns. He's so soiled. He's so soiled his nest or fouled his nest with pollution. Oh, here we go. This is going to be the slowest. This shoe polish might take all winter. Coming in with a super chat, Mr. Jelk. Shout out to you and Warband member, might I add, dual alternator, Warband member. Jelk says this: Hey, Cody, wanted to order my first piece of Ironheart. Oh, now you're speaking my language. You know, we're going to put this on hold. Now we're really getting into things I like to talk about. I'm going to help you, Mr. Jelk. I'm going to help you here. We're going to make a good decision together. I'm getting ready to order my piece. I'm excited just reading this. My first piece of Ironheart. Any tips on place to source, sizing, best first items? I'm sure it's been covered before. Oh, my goodness. Shall we take a look? So first off, what do you want? Here's what I would recommend. I'm going to give you a couple options. You cogitate on this and then respond back again, and then we're going to go over to the site, and I'm going to help you pick out something real nice. As Cousin Eddie said, some real nice, like Clark Griswold's white shoes. I guess first off, how much do you want to spend? You want to buy something, what do you want to spend first? What's your budget? Because there's no point of going in if you don't. We'll start with that. But what I would start with a trucker's jacket. I would get a 21-ounce trucker's jacket or the over-dyed one. I can give you a couple options. I'll give you 3 options. The trucker's jacket is something that's going to be your classic Levi jacket that you wear with everything, or a pair of pants, a pair of dungarees or jeans. You're going to have to tell me, do you want slim fit? Do you want something that's more full? There's 5 different styles, 5 different cuts. I would start with that. I think you would be very well served to get an ultra heavyweight flannel. Their flannels are like none other. They are absolutely beautiful. An ultra heavyweight flannel is nice. Their hoodies are really, really nice too. Don't look past that. They're the way that the hoodie is cut and just the thickness and how heavy they are wonderful. So, and a CPO shirt. So I would say my top 3 where I would start would be probably the first thing that comes to mind would be a CPO shirt or a 21-ounce trucker's jacket or an ultra heavyweight flannel. Those are the 3. If I had to start over, that's where I would start. The very first thing that I bought from them was a 21-ounce Type 3 modified trucker's jacket. And you tell me if any of those sound good to you. We'll go over there immediately. We'll bounce on the site and we'll look at them together, and I'll give you my opinions, give you my takes. So someone let me know if I missed Jelk. Oh, 500. Oh, you're good. You can have anything on the site. Anything on the site. So think about what I said and then respond here, Mr. Jelk, and we'll go take a look at it. I need you to kind of narrow it down for me, what you're thinking, and then I can help you, direct you to some good choices. When it comes to sizing, that's the trickiest thing. I would strongly encourage you to look in your area. Tell me what area you reside, and I know where some places are. If you can go in, the nice thing about when you start wearing Ironheart, I made a lot of mistakes when I first ordered because I was ordering online and I didn't follow the instructions. Imagine that. I didn't follow the instructions when it came to measuring arm length and shoulder width and all of that. Had I followed the instructions on the website like they recommend and they warn you again and again and again, I would have made better decisions. But I ended up buying things that didn't fit me properly because the Japanese sizing, you just think, well, I'm an XL. Well, maybe you are, maybe you're not. The Japanese sizing is different. But the cool thing about it is that once you figure out, I wear this pant, I wear this shirt, I wear that jacket, everything is so consistent and the patterns are the same, then you can safely order and know exactly what you want. But the first one, it can be kind of tricky, and I ended up sending stuff back and forth, to England, which is really a drag and very disappointing when you are looking forward to something and then you have to send it back and that whole process. They were great about it, but the best thing you can do is to go to a place, try the stuff on, get your sizing sorted out. If not, you can do it. You just have to follow the instructions on the website to a T. That's the advice that I would give you. Trucker's jacket. We're going there right now. This is a great place to start. I'm excited for you. I'm living vicariously. I love to spend other people's money. There's nothing better. All right, let me pull up the site. We're going to go straight to the source here, and we're going to look at this together. Good choice. Good choice. All right. Stand by. Let's have a look-see. All right, here we go. We're going to bounce on over here. All right, so this is where you start. I'm going to recommend two, Mr. Jelk. And I own both of these. Looking. Where's the 21 ounce? Oh, come now. All right, I'm going to go into the menu here. We're going to do a search. We're going to look shop. We're going to go to jackets. We're going to go to denim. Here we go. This indigo. Type 3 indigo. IH. Yeah, here you go. This is where you start. This is where you start, gentlemen. This is where you all start right here. This is the first piece that I bought. This is magnificent. How come that's so big? It's not what I want there. There we go. This is the top. Oh, we have to go picture to picture. Nothing but the best production. Look at that. I'll have to do the small one. So this is the quintessential Type 3 modified right here. This is signature Ironheart. This is their signature fabric. This is 21 ounce, ultra heavyweight selvedge denim. The real deal. Cut in the classic Levi trucker's jacket pattern. Now, Type 3 means that it's the latest version and it's this style. Modified, meaning it's got hand pockets. Oh, this one does it. Okay, warning, that's why the two are there. Be careful, don't get this one. It's the other one. I was wondering why those two were so similar. This one here, Type 3 jacket. See that Type 3? That means no pockets. Type 3, I should say modified. Hold on. Are there pockets there? No, there are those pockets. Here, let's go through. Maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree here. I need to get a better picture. We'll get there. No, this is fine. This is the one right here. All right, let's go back. We have to go through this. There's a lot we have to talk about here. This is the Type 3 modified jacket. You're going to have the, that's so good. So good. You want, just make sure it's got the pockets. Leather, real leather. The silver buttons. Goodness, the quality there, it's absolutely magnificent. These are beautiful, beautiful. Look at the chain stitching. Chain stitching. White canvas cotton bags. Look at the self-edge detail right there. Gorgeous. That's inside the wind flap right there. That tells you that's the mark of quality right there. Man, I have this jacket. The very first piece. You got the Works. Of course, this stands for Warband. The Works logo. Look at the details, gentlemen. Look at that stitching. All this is done by hand. Super industrial machines. Look at there you go. There's the classic. That is, look at the weave. Look at that classic Ironheart. Beautiful indigo. Here you can kind of see how that electric blue and the texture of it. That right there, that red and white, that is the side. That's what selvedge is. And that's what forms on the end of the fabric when they make it on the bolt. Beautiful. Works buttons. But I would take a look at this one right here for sure. That would be the first one that I would buy. I would also consider, maybe even push you into this one, to be honest with you. The over-dyed, where is it? Right here. Oh, I have this one as well. Now this jacket right here, the 14 ounce. Now the other one was 21 ounce. The 14 ounce selvedge denim modified Type 3 jacket. This is going to be the same cut. The difference of this is it's a much lighter fabric. This is going to be something, that other one will take you a year to break in. Seriously. You're going to put it on and then you're going to curse me. You're going to like, what have I done? It takes a commitment to break it in. Once it's broken in, it's incredible, but it is a haul. This one right here is going to be much, much lighter and just as cool. The exact same cut, but what's different about this one, it's subtle, but it's very important, is that it's lighter fabric, first off. But what they do is they take an indigo, the indigo jacket, they dye it in the pure indigo, and then they over dye it in black, and that's what gives it that rich color. It is absolutely beautiful. This is the jacket you've seen me wear that I have my granddad's silver Idaho pin on. I love this jacket. The fade potential on this is unreal. The black, you don't see the black. I don't like black denim, but it just gives it a darkness and a richness that the other one doesn't have. And having the fact that they have the tone that matches the blue stitching on here instead of the gold, it's much more subtle and it's not so outrageous. You know, the other one's pretty shocking when it's brand new because of the contrast stitching between the gold and the blue, which is still beautiful. Same buttons and everything, but this blue on blue is really, really nice. And the way that this fades is absolutely magnificent. It is one of my most favorite pieces. And very wearable right out of the box. Much less break-in time. And much cooler, especially in the summertime. And very, very handsome. Yeah, look at that. The one thing I really like about it is the white pocket. Yeah, look at that. That's gorgeous. So nice. Here's the cuff. Yes, the quality is, it's classic Japanese craftsmanship. Look at that. This my favorite thing with this jacket right here is this the selvage, come on now. The selvage detail on the cuff. Ironheart has pretty long sleeves. So I don't know if you have long arms or not. I have really long arms. I never was able to wear inexpensive clothing because inexpensive clothing has short arms. Nicer quality clothing has longer arms. I don't know why. But Ironheart has longer arms because of the motorcycle-inspired DNA. Motorcycle riding and motorcycle styling is in the DNA in most of their garments. And what's cool about this jacket is when you cuff it, when you fold the cuffs back, it exposes this beautiful detail here, which is quite striking when you're out and about wearing it. It really is a nice detail, and it just shows the quality. You know, it shows that this is true selvage denim, and it's kind of a cool thing to do. I like to roll the sleeves up. I don't like fabric or anything touching my wrists, and having that there, that detail, that exposing it is a nice touch. It's very sharp, very spiffy, very spiffy. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that blue stitching beautiful on that deep, rich indigo? And again, the fades on this are magnificent. Here you have your self-edge detail on the inside of the storm flap with the beautiful, it's the most beautiful creamy color of heavy canvas pocket bags that is stunning. Every time I put it on, it just absolutely gives me the fizz. This is it right here. And that selvage detail is nice on that when you have it open, like on your upper collar area, you can see that. If you're standing from the side, you can see it. And of course, the beautiful, kind of a matte button, a works button. And that selvage detail runs all the way down the inside. So when this is open and flapped open a little bit, you can see that selvage detail as well as on the cuffs. The fit is going to be exactly the same as the other one. Very, very, very skookum. That's really nice. The third one that I would consider, oh, there's so many. There's so many. The winter one with the pile lining is quite nice. I don't see that here, and I don't see the corduroy one. That's because I search denim. Let's back out here. We're going to look at one more option here for you. You're getting your money's worth here. Jackets. Type 1 and 3 modified. I'm not a big fan. This is nice too. A big fan of black denim, but I have one and I do like it. But I don't see it here. Here we go. Is this it? Nope. The one I have is fur lined. And the corduroy, where's the corduroy one? I have this one too. This is among one of my most favorite things. I would strongly consider this one too. If you want something, now this one's very light. This is a great, great summer jacket. I wore this one all summer. Exact same cut as before, but this is in corduroy. Corduroy, I think, is the most comfortable fabric to wear. It is exceedingly warm for no thicker than it is because it has so much surface area. You know how, like, I explain it, like a heat exchanger on a water cooled or an air cooled engine, how it has the fins. These fins act, I don't know how it works, but they act to cool and to heat. It just gives you a lot more surface area. And this jacket looks very, very smart. This looks very, very nice with a blue denim shirt, and it looks really great with jeans, and it's lightweight and super comfortable. As soon as you put it on, you'll feel like you're getting a hug. It's excellent. Same cut as the other. This is a Type 3 modified. It is lighter duty. Yeah, look how nice that looks with a chambray shirt. That's very handsome right there. I don't know about the white t-shirt there, but that a chambray shirt, that's a staple right there. That's something. And look at those buttons he's got. Oh, I thought they were custom. I thought they were diamonds, but they're not. This is a nice option right here too. So these, if you're looking at the denim jacket or the Type 3 modified, those are my three favorite. One that I have also, if you want to get something for the winter that's really, really warm and wonderful, and I don't see it here, why not? But you can look it up on your own time. It's the black denim with the fleece lining. It's a lined jacket, and that's a very smart jacket as well. Their black looks pretty nice. And if you want something for the winter that's really warm, I would push you into that. But those are my three recommendations, and I would go with that. So let us know. Let me know what you decide on. Let me know what you're leaning towards. Mr. Big Luke, don't let me forget. 5:30, I got to shut it down, gentlemen. I've got father-daughter date tonight. Big Luke 420 coming in with a super chat. Big Luke says, are you going to get the new DD4 from Daniel Defense? What is this? I need to go look. We're going to go have a look-see. I don't know what that is. As you know, we're on a no-spend year. All right, where's my cursor? This is the struggle stream. There's always problems. So I have to go over to my trackpad. So my cursor disappeared. Not even the trackpad works. Man, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to give you a Oh, there it is. I got it. We're back. Let's look that up. I hope that's the model number. Is that all it's called? If I search that, can I find it? Mr. Luke? Let's see. Daniel Defense. What people hate on Daniel Defense. The gun community on YouTube is absolutely the worst. Petty as a bunch of women in a sewing circle. This is the DD4. Hope that pulls something up. What is that? Am I 18? Yes. All right, let's have a look-see. Hit that thumbs up, gentlemen, for the struggle stream. DD4, which model are we talking about here? You got to be more specific, Mr. Luke. All right, get back to me, Luke, on that. Tell me which model you're talking about so we can hone in on it, and I will be happy to give you my opinion and help you spend your hard-earned money, for sure. Mr. Kill King 110 is coming in. He's looking at the iron and resin vest that you have. I'm naturally a bigger guy. Which looks better for me, cognac or black? Well, let's go have a look-see. Shall we have a look? I think you're making a very wise choice. That is a heck of a value. Well, I put my money where my mouth is. I bought one myself, and I rarely buy anything that's not made in Japan and Ironheart. I liked it that much. But I will give you my opinion. So this is the iron and resin vest in cognac. Let's go over there. I would highly recommend this item. Goodness, whether I live, look at how red I am now. See, I am magenta. I'm on death's door over here, and that fire is hot. I might have to push my desk away a little bit. All right, is there a search option here? Vest. Let's check it out. I'll give you my decision. Oh, that's quite nice. So is this called the work vest? Is this the one I have? They have mini vests. Highlander vest. Highway vest. Oh. Why are there so many? Can you clarify? Which model do I have? I don't see the one that I have with the pockets. Maybe the Highland vest. Yes, the Highland vest. There we go. Let's have a look. All right, let's bounce over there. Mr. Kill King is looking for my advice. So what would look better on it? What do you think, gentlemen? Should we go with the cognac? And so the cognac is nice. So this is a little pretentious for the name, isn't it? I'm guessing this is the one I have. Yeah, it looks like it. So this is our standard duck cotton color. This is going to look like a Carhartt. This is quite nice. I would absolutely wear this. I would absolutely wear this. And it's kind of cool to be the guy not wearing Carhartt like everyone else. I mean, my goodness, is that not played out or what? I mean, I like Carhartt, but it's just a little too much. And here's the one that I have in the black. Man, what else? Do we have a tan option? This is nice too. I actually prefer this color. I prefer this one over the cognac because I'm just a little tired of the Carhartt duck yellow orangey color. It's just so common, so ubiquitous that I'm a little tired of it. I like something that's a little bit unique. If it were me, I'm going to give you my opinion for what that's worth, Mr. Kill King. But I think that this is a far better and cooler color and much more unique than going with the duck color. So it all depends. If you're going to wear this in a dirty environment, whatever work you're doing, then I would probably consider the black. That's going to look better. It's going to be, it's not going to show stains and dirt near as much. If you're keeping this for something more like an everyday wear, just for the weekends and for going out, then I would go with this one right here. This is a really nice color. You don't see this color canvas. It looks unique. It looks expensive. It looks beautiful. And I much prefer this branding right here is way nicer than that leather patch. That if I had that right there, I would actually cut that off. I don't care for that. I think I have that on mine. I think I cut it off. The reason why mine doesn't have it is I cut it off before I even wore it because I didn't like it. But this tag right here, the cloth tag, people think I'm crazy. The details matter, gentlemen. The details matter. But this is quite nice. I'd leave that on. I think that's a nice touch. Beautifully lined. Yeah. I'm going to suggest that you go with the tan one or the black. If you're really hell-bent on the duck, that's cool too. But for me, I think it's just a little bit played out. 5-minute warning. Mr. Dan Ray, thank you. 2-minute warning. Goodness. Okay. Yes. I have to go at or near 5:30. So it looks like we're not going to be polishing any shoes. Best carry gun. So many variables, it's hard to say. Something that you're willing to carry every day, whatever that is. If you can't live with a Glock 19, then there's no point of pretending. If you're leaving it at home, if you're leaving it in the car, then don't go with it. Go with a single stack, something slimmer. I would stick with the Glock, or I would have before all the changes. I don't really know what's going on now. But my standby, what I carry most of the time is a Glock 19. Buy the real Glock. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of copies. I even have one. I was kind of forced to buy one from Mrs. W because I bought a Black Diamond, which is a Striker Fire Glock clone, but it's the thinnest, smallest 9mm you could buy at the time. And I kind of had to do it. I had to plug my nose and buy it. and I tested it, and it happened. It is reliable with the ammunition, and I shot it, and I had, as a runner, it was either that or she's not going to carry it at all. And there's always cougars and bears, and so that's what I went with. So I'm not going to just make a blanket statement and say you're a fool for buying anything other than a Glock. If it comes down to it, in a special situation where you have to have something that's super, super small, and this was before Glock had all those single stack. Brian and the Warband, those guys carry the single stack Glocks. That's what they like. So as a rule, I would agree, don't buy knockoffs. But in extreme situations like I found, Mrs. W had to have something that fit in a particular pouch on her running vest, and that was the only thing I could find at the time, and it was either that or nothing. So that's why I did that. The Mittens Outdoors says, hard to cast shade like that when asking what is best for a carry. A dagger is better than nothing. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with Chris, what he said. I'm not going to be so dogmatic. I've always been very arrogant in thinking that all my decisions and what I like and what I think is cool, that's the only thing, and that there's nothing else in the whole world. And that's just not the case. There are a lot of you who are a lot smarter and better shots and more educated about this than I am, and I'm not going to be up here thinking that I'm the end-all be-all. I'm going to try to tend to be more. I'll share my personal experience, what limited knowledge I have. I have concealed carry since I was 18, so I have experience with it. I do feel like I can speak to it with some authority, but I also don't follow up. I don't follow gun tubers. I don't follow the latest tech, and I'm like an old boomer. I can give you all the best knowledge from 20 years ago. That's about what I can offer you. Yes, I got to go, gentlemen. I got to go. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed hanging out. Thank you for the participation. It's super fun. I look forward to doing more of this. If it was up to me, what I would like to move into, and I guess it is up to me, I would like to do a night stream, do a live stream like this, an hour and a half, 90 minutes, around the 4 o'clock so to 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and then go right into supper. I really, really enjoy it, and I will continue to keep working. I'll try to get better at it. I'll try to get the magenta out of it and the lighting and the audio. It's just going to get better and better and better. And check this out. You want to see? I'm adding high production today. We're going to close out the live stream with my theme song. How about that? Nothing but the best. Nothing like to get everyone into the mood as we slowly move out and we fade the music out. Where did the Why Is God So Angry video go? I don't know. I thought it was up. I'll look into it. I don't know. Maybe I accidentally. I don't know. I'll check it out. But I got to go, gentlemen. May God bless you. Please keep us in your prayers. Welcome to our new members. If you'd like to join us for tomorrow's stream to get deep into the Word of God, we will pray for you. We will encourage one another. It is an awesome group. Try it out. Try it out. Spend the $5. If you don't like it, don't renew it. But I think you'll enjoy it. You'll get instant access to all of the stuff that we've done, and you'll jump in with both feet, and welcome to the Warband. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, Lord willing, at somewhere between 8 and 9. All right. Keep us in your prayers. Thank you for your generosity.